In today's lesson, we're going to look at how to use patterns in tables to answer questions about information in the table, and then how to answer questions about future events. In the first problem, we're told that Nadia knows that she's younger than her father, Glenn, and that this table compares her age to his. So the first bullet point is asking, when Nadia was 1 year old, Glenn was how old? Well, we can see that information right here. When Nadia was 1 year old, Glenn was 24 years old. The second bullet point says, when Nadia is 49 years old, Glenn will be how old? Well, 49 years is not in the table. So here's where recognizing a pattern can help us. We notice that when Nadia is 1, Glenn is 23 years older. When Nadia is 5, Glenn is 23 years older, right? And this is true all the way through the table. We can add 23 to get Glenn's age. So we can do the same here. We can do 49 plus 23, which is 72. So we know Glenn's age will be 72 years old. That's how we can use a pattern to answer questions about future events. In the second problem, we're told a catering company uses the following table to figure out how many sandwiches are required to feed a certain number of people. Well, I'm going to start with looking for patterns first. And I notice if I try using what I did in the last problem with Glenn's age and Nadia's age, that the pattern won't work, right? So if I add 4 to this, I get 5. But if I add 4, I would get 6, not 10. So adding 4 is not going to be a pattern here. I do notice, though, that if I multiply by 5, I get the right number of sandwiches. This is one way of finding the rate in a proportional relationship. Another way we could find the rate is by comparing how the number of people increases to the number of sandwiches. So here, the number of people increases by 1, the number of sandwiches increases by 5. The number of sandwiches increases by 1, the number of sandwiches increases by 5. So we can see here that the rate is 5 sandwiches per person. So let's see if we can use this information with the bullet points. For each person, the caterer needs to make 5 sandwiches, and that comes from our rate. For 6 people, the caterer would need to make how many sandwiches? Well, we have 2 ways that we could do this now. We could do 6 times 5 equals 30, or we could say, as this increases by 1, this increases by 5. Either way, we've proven that 6 people would get 30 sandwiches. In the final problem, we're going to use a graph to make a table and then find out what the rule is. So here's our graph, and it's asking us if the pattern continues in the graph, the next point marked on the line will be what? Well, we started at 0, 3. The next point is 1, 4. Then it's 2, 5. The next point would be here, and that point is 3 comma 6. So we'll fill that in. Now let's look at the table and see what we can do with that. So fill in the table with the values from the graph. The first one is filled in for you. So they filled this one in here for us. That's the 0 comma 3. We'll fill in the rest. We had 1 comma 4, 2 comma 5, and 3 comma 6. So our x values and y values are filled in. Now we're being asked to choose all of the statements that correctly describe the pattern. So we're going to have to analyze each one of these because more than one could be right. The first one is asking us to check, is it true that the rule is x plus 3 equals y? So I'm going to show my work up here, x plus 3 equals y. So if I take my x values, right here are my x values, and I add 3 to them, will it equal the y value? So let's have a look. X plus 3 equals 3. True. The x value of 1 plus 3 equals 4. True. The x value of 2 plus 3 equals 5. True. And finally, the x value of 3 plus 3 equals 6 is true. So this rule works. It is correct. A is a possibility. Let's now try option B. As x increases, y increases. So I'm just going to reset my table here. Okay. So as x increases, y increases. So what that means is, as my x value goes up, does the y value also increase? Well, it did there, right? We went from 0 to 1, and then we went from 3 to 4. Both of those increased by 1. Does that pattern hold true for the table? It went up again, and y went up. X increased, y increased. So option B is also true. Let's now reset and look at option C. The rule is y minus 3 equals x. So in the first one, the first row, my y value is 3. And if I subtract 3 from that, will it equal the x value of 0? Well, 3 minus 3 equals 0 is true. We'll try it again. If my y value is 4 and I subtract 3 from it, will it equal 1? 4 minus 3 equals 1. The same is true for the last two. 5 minus 3 is 2, and 6 minus 3 is 3. This rule is also correct. Finally, we have the rule is y plus 3 equals x. So let's see if this rule works. If I take the y value and add 3 to it, will it equal the x value? So in the first one, my y value is 3. So I'm going to replace the y with 3. And if I add 3 to that, will it equal 0? Obviously not. So immediately I can see that this is not an option. So my answers are A, B, and C. This is the kind of work you're going to do today. You're just looking to recognize patterns. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll help you out as soon as I can. Good luck, guys.